a lot of participants have asked us what exactly is blockchain. Like if you could just explain it in 2-3 simple sentences, preferably English, not a lot of jargons.
Sure. I'll take the example of something which everyone has done. We always go for parties, and we don't go for parties alone. We always have friends. Most of the times when you're going out with a friend, we say, let's let 2 or 3 people do the expenses. And at the end, tell us the whole expense and we'll dutch out who has to take the expense. So that at the end, there's always a friend who says, यार उसने पैसे ज़्यादा ले लिए मैं बता रहा हूँ उसने ज़्यादा ले लिए and this is something which happens every time and you have no answer because you don't have evidence for that and hence you cannot just go ahead and say yeah you're right. So what, let's say a common terminology or a common thing that we can do is create a Google ID and take the other Google IDs of everyone, create a Google sheet, and there what happens is as soon as you do the expenses, you go ahead and write it down. You say, let's say, paste the screenshot of the bank account transfer or whatever you have made, so that it's transparent and at the end nobody has this doubt. Hey, usme paise chura liye. But the problem with Google server is it's centralized. But first of all, they have all the data. They have the right to modify. They don't want to. That's a different story. They can modify it. It's a centralized server which can be attacked. Yes, it's very secure, but it's not 100% secure. It can be hacked, and because it's just one server, directing attack to one server from 1,000 points versus attacking some 1,000 places from 1,000 places, you know that one place has a greater chance of getting cracked. So that's that there. And then what can also happen is you can go ahead and you can edit those details. You can delete those details, or you can modify those details, and maybe you know some tricks so that notification doesn't go to your friend. So you can still try and change those data. Now, when blockchain comes into existence, the first thing it removes is centralization. So there is no central server. There is no central place where all the data is getting stored. Now, the benefit of this is that when the data is getting stored at multiple places, the best benefit is when you are doing so, one platform can be had, or one cloud server, or one particular place can be had, but not thousands. So if I talk about Bitcoin, I talk a lot about Bitcoin, not because this is something which is a hype, but because this was the first thing that came into existence and then blockchain came. If you talk about Bitcoin, what will happen is with the Bitcoin, a lot of things that happen across us is that Bitcoin is something where you go ahead and which lies, the data lies in thousands and lakhs of servers, which are created by us itself, or you can say the miners. So if you attack even one, you can attack two, you can attack three. But in order to go ahead and create a panic situation or overtake the system, you need 51% or more of the computing power, not 51% or more of the computers, but the computing power, which is like investing something around the half the economy of the India. That's the amount of money that you need to put into it right now with the difficulty levels that it has. So that being said, so first of all, it's not centralized. So if it's not centralized, you cannot go ahead and hack the data and modify the data, and others won't notice it. So that's one thing. Second thing is, even if you have, because of this 51% plus resilience, what you can say is the data is immutable. Immutable means if you have written something on that, let's say you pasted a bill of 1,000 rupees. So once you have written it, and this is something which is posted on the blockchain or the Bitcoin network or any such network of the blockchain, what will happen is you cannot go ahead and edit the data, you cannot delete that data, you cannot modify that. So that this brings in the question that what if there is something which I did wrong? So what you will have to do is you will have to do an inverse entry. So you will have to pass an entry, or you will have to go ahead and say that, hey, let's add another entry, which is the reversal of the wrong entry, and then add another fresh entry. So that's the basic thing. So here, what I want to say is, first of all, that we heard, it's decentralized. Second, it's immutable. Third, whatever transactions are happening. So right now, if I just want to go ahead and I want to show you, hey, what are the transactions that are right now happening? I can simply just go ahead and I can simply just show you right now, hey, this is how the transactions are happening. And let's see. Give me a second. I'll just show that to you.
So just to recap that, basically what we're saying is, it's more like instead of having a computer, you have a computer lab which is spread across the world. So instead of one machine, one particular server storing all your data or doing all the processes, you basically have a computer lab which is spread across the world. And if you want to change anything, you basically have to go into each and every machine and change it from everywhere. And you don't really know which all machines, where all are there. And this is not like a 10, 20 size computer lab. This is millions of computers or millions of nodes is what I believe we call it in blockchain.
Exactly. So now whatever transactions that I want to see which are happening right now, I can just go ahead and I can see. So it's that's transparency. I can just, like for example, this is the last transaction that has been processed on the Bitcoin network. I can just click on this and I can just go ahead and I can just see what exactly happened. So here we can see that this was a transaction of 0.28 BTC where this amount went to one address, and this was the amount that was returned back to the wallet. So you can see all those details. How much is the transaction input? How much is the fees that we have paid? What is the timestamp? So here you have received timestamp, and once you have written something on this network, it's there forever. So even if you want to see the first transaction of Satoshi, that transaction is still on this platform. So that's how you can go ahead and say, hey, this is something where I can say there's something completely transparent. So that's where I say that blockchain brings in a lot of transparency. And hence, if you cannot edit the data, hence the audit trail. Now, our work as an auditor or our work as a finance professional, if we are going into the audit industry, is to ensure that the audit trail is maintained. We ensure that. But here, system is itself ensuring that. So that's basically what is blockchain. Blockchain is what? Something which is immutable, tamper-proof, properly traceable, and decentralized completely, where the control is not lying on one single party, where we have to trust a single party. Everyone, even you, even me, if I want to get into it, yeah, there is a system requirement that is there, which we call as mining. But yes, if we have that much potential, we can go ahead and we can become a part of this network. There is no interview that we have to clear, or there is no application that we have to fill to say, hey, I want to work on this network. No, that's the beauty of this.
So basically, we are saying that blockchain creates a very transparent ecosystem for anyone to work in. As long as you have the required resources, you can just come in and be a part of the network.
Exactly. That's
and more importantly, anything that happens here is one, it cannot be changed. Second, it is transparent also. So as far as it's a part of the public blockchain, anybody at any point of time can verify it. So out of these millions of people who are involved, they can anytime check what is happening, where it is happening by simply logging onto their internet.